My name is Benedek Jávor, member of the European Parliament for Greens in Hungary. As Greens, we believe that our fight for a better world should serve each and every man and woman on earth, each and every citizen of the EU, including people living in poverty and marginalization, such as the 10–12 million European and the 800,000 Hungarian Roma. As all of you know, majority of Roma in Europe have been living in extreme poverty and on the edge of the society for centuries. And if we explore the historical causes behind it, we will see nothing else but pure institutionalized discrimination, financed, maintained and managed by the states. I would like to highlight the three most important barriers in front of Roma that needs to be overcome in order to change the political sphere. The first and most important one is the institutionalized discrimination. In whole Europe, especially in those Central and Eastern European member states with high percentage of Roma population, particularly in the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria, is the segregation of Roma children in education, discrimination on labor market, unequal access to health services, and almost unbearable housing conditions. These are everyday phenomenon in those member states. Probably education has the longest lasting effect that makes poverty inherited from one generation to the other. Unfortunately, in many cases, this is not simply segregation, but aggravated with a slightly mentally disabled status given wrongly and unreasonably, which really determine the fate of many Roma children for life. Roma cannot break out from this vicious circle of poverty and political powerlessness until the educational systems in our countries is not going to provide the children with knowledge valued by society and the primary labor market. This is not going to happen from one day to another, only if we all demand educational rights continuously. In this field, I am trying to do my utmost together with NGOs from Eastern Europe. You might have heard that on the 26th of May this year, the European Commission has initiated an infringement procedure against Hungary on the educational segregation of the Roma children, based partly on my complaint. Although I do not have much faith in the government of the day in Hungary, I believe that it is the duty of every citizen to add her or his contribution to the cause and push the decision makers in Europe and all its member states to change not only the laws, but the attitude as well. The second phenomenon is the learned or inherited and anti-political sentiment, which is almost as dangerous as the direct segregation of bodies and institutions. In Europe, marginalized people truly and wholeheartedly believe that they have nothing to do with politics because this is the job of the Caucasian, well-educated, middle-class man already in or near to political power. I have met several Roma and marginalized communities who never dared to openly express their wish for change. The third barrier is the corruption that is easily detectable but hardly provable in many parts of Europe. Taking into consideration the first two barriers, corruption will not meet with strong resistance of the Roma communities. Since most of the marginalized people are not very conscious about their rights, therefore they do not consider public money as their own, even if it could and should have a positive effect on their life. Therefore, it is really easy to misuse or divert these funds without any disapproval from their side. As we can see from the Hungarian example, the national Roma minority self-government close to the government can spend EU funds without responsibility or even without the requirement to have a positive effect on Roma living in marginalization. I was asked several times what Roma should do to change the political circumstances. Although I do not have the philosopher's stone in my pocket, but my answer is quite simple. Be conscious and publicly active. Are you unsatisfied with the level of education in your school? Write a letter to your representative in the parliament and to the school sustainer. If there is no answer, then write them again and again, as long as they will learn your name. You cannot get an openly advertised job because it always happens to be taken by somebody else before your arrival, although obviously you are unsuccessful because of your color of skin. You shall ask the help of NGOs and trade unions who can provide you with advocacy and help. If you think there is not any suitable for you, then find friends in the same situation and make one own. You feel that EU funds were misused and increased that gap between your minority and the majority of society. There is no properly built road and sidewalk in your neighborhood, but useless development has been financed from EU funds in the center. Report it to Olaf, DG Regio, or to your MEPs and draw the attention of decision makers. Take pictures and send them to the local news and persuade them to come and visit. You feel lonely and abandoned. Find your allies in your neighborhood, in your school, in your village, in your town, in your country, and on the international level. Share your thoughts, find the common points with the other, and do friend-raising before fundraising. You do not agree what is happening in your village, region, or country. You are really fed up with the political system. Search for a political party which is open and ready to listen to you, join them, and become their volunteer and their voice. But first of all, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do something for yourself and your community, even if it doesn't seem to be professional for the first sight. Thank you for your time and attention, and I wish you good luck for everything.